welcome back to Block TV, where it is time for Cryptonomics. That's where we take a look at the latest developments in the digital asset economy. And to do that right now, lucky girl that I am joined from Las Vegas by none other than eToro's senior market analyst, Mati Greenspan, who presumably is in Sin City to blow all his recent earnings from his crypto portfolio. Actually, he's there for Blockchain Week, but... Mati,
what's up, Yael?
It's so great to see you with us, and thank you for getting up, or for keeping up for this late hour. It's going well. It's very China mode everywhere we look. And I want to ask you, first of all, because I didn't have a chance to do it over the course of last week. Looking at, let's talk China. You know what? Screw it, let's scratch that. There has been a mass surge in the word blockchain when people search for it on Google. And I'm putting it all to one person, that's Xi Jinping from China, with this very, what appears to me, and I want your take on it, a very well-planned kind of two-pronged launching of their crypto/blockchain agenda, right?
That's correct. Yep. I couldn't believe there are people out there who are saying this pump is not due to China. I'm just flabbergasted at some of these people. It is quite clear to me that the only reason the crypto markets are surging right now is because of Xi Jinping's announcement, because China is going full blockchain. That obviously affects the crypto market in a big way. And as we know, the backbone of the crypto market is Bitcoin. And that's the only reason things have been surging.
I tend to agree with you entirely. I'm glad you actually said that. That was my next question. Because yes, we're seeing all these. This has nothing to do with that. Looking at China itself, what do you think is behind this? Because we all know there's rumor and supposition. I'm assuming it will happen that China itself will be issuing its digital national coin within the next 3 months, somewhere before 2020. What do you think that this has something to do with that? And then talk to me a little bit about the CCD list and what has been happening in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, definitely. So this is, China doesn't generally dictate policy by tweet. Actually, we've been able to see this coming for quite a while. We know that China's central bank are leading researchers in the crypto market, and sometimes their information is skewed this way or that. But we know that they've been involved in crypto since 2014, and they've been pushing forward their central bank digital currency. So basically that all renminbis in circulation eventually should be moved to a blockchain. It's not the same type of blockchain that we have, with Bitcoin, where it is an open, borderless currency, but rather the main master node, if you want to call it that, is going to be the Chinese central bank. And then the second layer is going to be financial institutions within the country. So this is not necessarily an open network, but it is more open than the current one, and it is going to be blockchain based, and this is why they are rolling out all these regulations. It's interesting to see the president himself coming on and embracing blockchain in that way, but it's not entirely surprising. This didn't come out of the blue. We've been seeing it build up for months and even years.
No, entirely, I agree with you. I think it's underreported, to be honest, in some mainstream outlets. But to all those points, Chinese cryptos incurred explosive rallies over the course of the last 48 hours. Some with surging over 40%, massive momentum. Do you think it will last?
I think it could. Yeah. I mean, we're coming off a prolonged period of low sentiment and low volumes in the crypto market. I mean, we've been seeing dismal volumes over the last few weeks. We even had that drop just before the Zuckerberg testimony that some people were kind of panicking about. And I even saw some short traders go, "This is it, we're going to 3,000, all of those price targets coming out again." And, in a sudden instant, I mean, not a sudden instant, because it did take time for the news to proliferate from the time that Xi Jinping said it until Chinese media covered it. I believe it was probably about 48 hours until Western media got a hold of it. Yep. But as far as I'm concerned, I watched, so I just opened Twitter and I saw every single tweet in a row, about 5 to 10 different tweets talking about Xi Jinping. Look back at the charts, I see the surge there. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a direct correlation.
No, entirely so. Blockchain search volume has also skyrocketed, as we mentioned at the beginning, in China following the president's use of that word. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin,
The B word.
the B word, exactly.
The other B word, yes.
So many, yeah, exactly. That can go so many ways. When it comes to when it comes to Bitcoin, China does not like Bitcoin. Needless to say, the decentralization behind it will never jive with where the Republic, where the Chinese Republic currently stands. But what do you think it'll do to Bitcoin in the long run? I mean, are they trying to give it a run for its money? I don't personally see a future where China allows Bitcoin to be traded within it. Do you see it differently? Their own crypto, yes, but yeah.
So think about it from the perspective of China. Which is the bigger evil? Is it Bitcoin or is it the US dollar?
US dollar, I would say.
So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they have, look, we know that a lot of Bitcoin's mining is done in China and specifically in the Sichuan province. But at the moment, we don't know exactly how much is. The latest studies have diversified. Previously, we've seen up to 80%. I believe we're talking about more like 50 or 60% these days as a rough estimation. So we know that they've had a policy, long-standing policy, multi-decade policy, really, to cut back on that crypto mining. And we know that Bitcoin trading against RMB pairs is also ostensibly banned in China. The reason for that, obviously, they want to prevent capital flight. They want people using Bitcoin to get their money out of China. They have very strict capital controls. Each Chinese citizen is allowed to send up to about $50,000 out of China. So they don't want people using Bitcoin to kind of get around that. But I don't think that they believe that Bitcoin is evil. It just kind of seems to me like they're letting Bitcoin live, or live and let live kind of policy, but try to over time reduce the usage within the country. And I think that has kind of been their strategy all along. I don't think that we have any surprises there. And I think that this recent move, and we can tell by several Chinese cryptocurrencies, which are more regulatory compliant in China, those are the ones that are zooming today.
No, they're zooming entirely now. Xi's blockchain push also triggered a frenzy in technology stocks, right?
I haven't seen that specifically. I'm going to go take a look right now.
No, I'm quoting Bloomberg, and I didn't make this up.
Send me the article. I haven't seen it yet. It seems interesting.
I miss you, Mati. Supposedly, and just to quote Bloomberg, and just your take on it, the Chinese investors snapped up every blockchain-related stock in sight after the president, obviously, of China said Beijing wants to speed it up. So this is an effect across the market. You're in the States right now, Mati. Let me rephrase that question. You're in Vegas. Right. I know you haven't had much time. You haven't had much time to gauge the American public's knowledge of what's going on financially and other spheres of competition in the world. Do you think the United States legislators, apropos, I'm just thinking of what Mark Zuckerberg warned the U.S. Congress of just a week ago.
Exactly.
Do you think there's a realization that this is happening?
Yeah, so this is exactly what's happening. We've seen the trade wars playing out over the last year or two. And that started out mostly in agriculture, and then wider imports and exports. And then at some point it turned towards technology, and patent laws, and even we've seen allegations of spying through technology and all of that. The next leg of this war, and it's very clear right now, is fintech. The payment system. And Mark Zuckerberg laid it out very clearly on the floor of Congress. And he said, this is, if we don't innovate right now, China is going to beat us to the punchline. And China, right on cue, said, hey, look what we're doing. So yeah, this is definitely the next, as far as I see, this is the next leg of the trade war, and it does revolve around fintech.
Unbelievable. And yes, entirely so. The race is on, so to speak, and somebody's really pushing to the final line. And now, as we miss you dearly, Mati, and you're in Vegas in the blockchain. By the way, I know you just arrived. Is there any talk of that blockchain, love song speech from China in the conference that you're in?
I'm sure there will be. Just seeing prices up is a good way to start a blockchain week. So I'm looking forward to this one.
And speaking of, because we have you, the Oracle, the soothsayer, but of course it's not a prediction, it's just a theory, Bitcoin. Do we think we've staved it? I mean, is bear season off? Are we in this bullish phase right now? Where do you think it's heading?
Yeah, all of the sentiment and volumes are up. Masari Crypto is now reporting $1 billion again, where they were looking at 200 million this time last week. So that's up about 5 times across the top 10 exchanges. The CME group has more than doubled their volume from this time last week, probably tripled their volume from this time last week. Volumes are up. Sentiment is also up, and we can look at several different sentiment indicators. I took a Twitter poll last week before the Xi Jinping announcement, and I said, just after that drop, the pre-Zuck drop, and I had about 50% of people saying the next leg was down. A few hours after the Xi Jinping announcement, I had 50% saying the next move is up. So sentiment has completely done a 180 on us. Volumes are back up. So this is definitely the type of move that has the potential to snowball.
Has the potential to snowball is, a perfect PC explanation for this. But thank you, Mate Greenspan. First of all, thank you for joining us today from Vegas, where you're at that blockchain conference. Always such a pleasure to talk to you. I hope we can do this tomorrow as well. This was Cryptonomics. Thank you for being with us. We were BLOCKTV.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.